Total Killers, the brand new Amazon Prime Video original movie, was just hit the streaming service this past Friday. 35 years after these three Sweet 16 murders, which took place in 1987, where three high schoolers were stabbed each 16 times during the week of Halloween. The killer returns to kill Pam Miller, played by Julie Bowen. So her daughter, Jamie Hughes, played by Kiernan Shipka, goes back in the past to 1987 before the three killings happened, not just to save the original three murderers, but to also save her mother, who back in 1987 is being played by Olivia Holt. This also comes from the director of 2019 Netflix animated film Always Be My Maybe, and is produced by Jason Blum and Blumhouse. The film is 1 hour and 46 minutes and is rated R. Welcome back to a brand new review here at Max Talks, where we're talking Totally Killer. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. I do movie reviews, TV show reviews, movie rankings, and I talk box office. So please subscribe, ring the bell, comment down below. First of all, have you ever heard of this movie? Are you going to check it out before you start watching this video? I'd love to hear your thoughts if you've seen it in the comment section down below. No spoilers. If you want to do talk spoilers, just leave a heavy spoiler, do a couple paragraphs, then talk spoilers. Also, please like the video, the thumbs up button as we start this video. This is a non-spoiler review, by the way, of Totally Killer. So I saw a trailer, I think it was like 3 weeks ago when the first trailer came out, and this is definitely marketed, and the producers, the director, the actors talk about that. It's the way it's marketed is that it's a combination of Back to the Future with Scream. And that's all I knew coming into the movie. I didn't know the deaths or anything like that. So I came in pretty fresh, which I normally don't do. And also I didn't hear just anyone talking about it. I didn't see this on when it came out on Friday, and I didn't hear any reviews at that time. So I came in really fresh into the movie, which got me excited. So let's start with my review of Totally Killer, which I really do think that this is a blast of a movie. I do feel like this movie falls very much in line with the two Happy Death Day movies, which is Totally Killer is going a lot more for the comedy than it is actually going for the horror, the scares, and the kills. The way the Happy Death Day takes the Groundhog Day and mashing it with a slasher movie, Totally Killer mashes Back to the Future with a slashing movie, as very similar to Back to the Future, just like how Marty McFly got to see his family back when they were in high school. That is what this movie basically is about, of Jamie going back in time to 1987, seeing her mom, seeing how her mom was basically a totally different person from the woman that she knew, and then of the woman that she is in high school. Same thing for her father in the film, who in the adult version is played by Lachlan Monroe, and the teen version is played by Charlie Gillespie. Very different, which I really did enjoy as well. But this is a blast of a movie. I think the biggest reason why for me that it's a blast is that the comedy works. This is a really funny movie, and I laughed a lot more than I was expecting coming in. There are some really good jokes. Now, the movie does a great job at poking fun at both the 2023 and the way society is in 2023 and the way it is in 1987. Now, yes, they do not make these racial jokes or things like that, but what they really go for with the jokes comparing generations is the social climate, which is basically, people want to call it woke culture, that it is in 2023. And then in 1987, where basically you can do anything you want, is basically what the movie obviously implies. And obviously there's a lot of freedom in 1987, where there's even a joke in the movie where Jamie is touched by a little bit by a guy, and she's like, that's a unwarranted touch, and all these different things. I like that they didn't make fun of the just toy with how stupid, or just make fun of the society that we're in today. Yes, it poked fun at, I guess, woke culture in 2023, but also poke fun at the 80s. And yes, it was a wild time. It's one of the most, movies that gets, it's a decade that gets highlighted a lot in a positive way, but there's ways to poke fun at the 1980s. And I really enjoyed that as well. And as I said, the comedy really worked. I also think the cast is really good. Now, I do think we're about time where Kiernan Shipka probably should not be playing a high schooler anymore. As she's near, I believe she's like 24, 25 years old. And I think we do need to stop her playing these characters. I feel like we've been watching her play it enough, but she fits this movie perfectly. She has the whole movie kind of on her plate. She has the very arrogant daughter, and then when her mother gets killed, a very vulnerable daughter who then goes into the past, and it can be very cringeworthy, this movie, and she brings that a lot as well. I really like both Julie Bowen as the adult Pam, and I really like Olivia Hull as the Pam. It's probably the best casting of the whole movie, from the older characters to the younger characters. Holt does a really good job and has great chemistry of Shipka as well as Julie Bowen. Also love having, once again, the reteaming from Always Be My Maybe. Randall Park as well is also playing one of the officers in the movie back in the 1980s. And I really loved Always Be My Maybe on Netflix from 4 years ago with Randall Park and Ali Wong. And it's great to see this director find another really solid movie. The actual slasher of it can be fun. And the reason why they compare it to Scream is that this movie is also a whodunit movie. It's a slasher whodunit, who is in the mask. And I just had overall just a general blast with this movie. Now, there are some problems with the movie. I do think that the time travel logic is doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, and the movie knows that and tries to waste scenes on just over explaining it, and it still doesn't make a lot of sense. The resolution of the movie I found not to be very interesting, and kind of the easy scapegoat way out of explaining how this character can come back from 87, change things that happened in 1987, and come back to a new future. It just felt too easy the last 5 minutes of the movie for me. And I think the biggest problem with the movie is that the whodunit of the movie is by far and away the least interesting part of the film. What gets you sucked in is kind of the Back to the Future aspect of her going back and past, seeing her parents, the comedy of the social climate of both time periods. But the whodunit of the movie is just never interesting. There's a reveal, and it came like out of nowhere. It made no sense. There's a reveal that happens in the movie that just makes no sense. They never set it up. They didn't set breadcrumb trails for this possibly being a reveal, and then it just happens. You're like, cool, who cares? And then the overall reveal you could have seen coming from a mile away. So the whodunit for me was not interesting. And I think when the movie focuses so much on the whodunit, I think that's where the movie really loses itself. It loses the comedy. The intensity isn't there because you know who the killer is. And the twist also just doesn't make any sense. For the overall main twist of the movie just, I don't think, works at all from a logic perspective. But overall, I would put this right where the first two Happy Death Day movies are. They're fun horror comedies that put the comedy first. And this movie, for the most part, the comedy does work. It's a really charming cast and a cool concept that really sucks you in. But the whodunit itself is not that interesting, kind of suck you out of the movie. And the overall time travel logic just doesn't make sense, and I just did not care for. So overall, I'm going to give Totally Killer a 3.5 out of 5. I'm going to go 70% on Totally Killer. What are your thoughts on this new Prime Video movie? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll see you soon.